Wait, no way. Guys, we got 3 feet. You like big horned girls and feet? Well then, you've absolutely come to the right place. In this video, we'll be taking a look at Snail Shell's Succubus Lustia, who really couldn't get bustier. We're going to take a look at the good, the bad, and everything in between. So let's see if she's worth it. Firstly, I do have to mention this is a pre-owned figure, so she might be a little bit different from if you get her new. Long story short, I wasn't actually planning to get her, but well, things happened, she popped up for a decent price, and so I decided to grab her. The box is the same size as Eileen's if you have that. I feel the first owner didn't really take care of her that well. The box is a little scuffed and was kind of dirty with fingerprints and stuff. Kind of gross. But it's fine, she came with everything and I just gave her a thorough disinfection. Anyway, getting her out of the box, there's one plastic tray with everything inside, some cross-selling, some after-sales service, and some instructions. We also have this, and we'll take a detailed look later of course. Here she is, and I think she looks better in person, especially given that I wasn't going to get her initially. Do be careful as she is a bit pointy and quite sharp all around. She is pretty much just covered in purple with just a little bit of gold accents here and there, but overall the color scheme does look nice and is well balanced due to her showing a bit of skin, or rather a lot of skin. Her hair is a light greyish purple I guess. She has some darker shading at the ends of her hair. It's nicely detailed with lots of individual strands and again is very pointy. The purple coloured parts being her hair and I guess fur bits. This is fur, right? They're a little bit shiny. Think kind of like metallic die-cast car kind of shiny. I'm not quite sure how well the camera picks it up. It's a little bit easy to see on the fur bits. She is a bit of a horny girl, and by that I mean she has 4 demonic horns I guess. Do succubus usually have horns? Succubuses? Succubi? What's the plural? These are a softish plastic and will bend towards the tips. They aren't removable though, and I'm pretty sure the plug is just on the hair. Going back to the hair, it is a harder plastic, and so it does get in the way of articulation a little bit. Her side hair is a little bit softer though. She turns her head like this. She can nod ever so slightly, mostly just looking down. And she can tilt her head. For the hair, I guess they went for looks over articulation, as in there's no joint for extra movement. The limited movement may bother some, but it does look good from the back. Perhaps in future they could include alternate hair packs or something. She has some gold bling and dangly bits here and there, like on her horns, collar, and tassel on her chest covering. The gold bits look okay, but aren't anything special. Do be careful of the ones around the horn, because they can fall out. Not sure if this is just because it's a pre-owned figure, but you wouldn't want to lose these. Her face looks good, and ears are also pointy. Her eyes are kind of purple and pink, I guess. And they have a bit more dimension due to the movable eyes. The eyes can be moved around with this stick wand thing to give her a wider range of expressions. She has a total of 2 faceplates, a regular neutral-ish smiley face, and a tongue-out licky kind of face with some funky eyebrows. These both have the articulated eyes. She has some nice shading on her chest, stomach, and just along and around the crevices of her body. Do be careful of the paint rubbing off though. I say that like you can avoid it, but it absolutely will happen if you move her around. Most notably, it'll happen around her horns, legs, arms, and I guess chest. Speaking of arms, they move like this, up and down, and all the way around. Pretty standard movement, very similar to Eileen if you have her. Just be careful when moving the arms towards the back as the hair will get in the way. Also, depending on how high you have her arms, articulation going forward isn't that good because of 2 big reasons. She has a bicep swivel, double elbows, not quite full fold but it's a good range, and her wrist movement is pretty standard. Her wrists are an improvement on Eileen and are easy to swap around while not being loose. Her hands are pretty well done and quite neat as well. The nails are long and sharp, but the hand as a whole is a bit more bendy and feels softer than Eileen's. This is probably why it's easier to swap hands, but you will want to be careful with the nails. I haven't had any issues with them, but you wouldn't want her breaking any. For hands, she has a total of 4 pairs. She has open grabby hands, open gesture hands, holdy hands with an enclosed holdy hole. You'll only be able to hold small objects which can slide into her hands with these. For example, her whip, or free run staff. And lastly, she has book holding hands with a plug. Her book looks really good and is pretty detailed. There's some random writing and spells and things inside. The eye on the front is a standout feature I think. Here is also a detailed look at her whip. There is a skull at the bottom, and the actual whippy part of the whip is a bendy wire, so you can move it around. She also has some super modest coverings, which are slightly translucent and of a soft plastic. Again, be careful here because they are quite thin and doesn't feel too delicate, but caution is always a good idea. Her loincloth is somewhat held in place by a little pointy tail, and this is what it looks like underneath. Her tail does have a little hole for the stand. It's nicely hidden and the tail can rotate. For the stand, it's got the Snail Shell logo, and you can also use the claw instead of the plug. So another thing is, because she is a bit spiky, it's hard to move her torso due to her hair and tail. But it's not too bad, just gotta get your hands in the right position. She can rotate a little bit. She bends forwards and backwards well enough, but of course be careful of the hair and tail. And she tilts well. There's minimal gapping, which is good. When moving her torso, be careful of stretching her chest coverings. So either grab a little bit higher or you can grab underneath. So while we're here, you may feel something. Well, I mean, I certainly do. She doesn't have any shading on her chest, but there are certainly bumps which you can feel. It can be a bit more noticeable depending on the light and angle. And the paint will also rub off here, which I guess in this case is not too bad. Her hip is a floating piece, so you can kind of treat that as having separate movement. However, it can get a bit fiddly and gappy depending on the pose and angle. Just remember to push the hip piece back down after posing. She can move her legs in all kinds of ways and do the splits pretty well. We don't really need a voiceover for this, right? She has thigh swivels, double jointed knees, and her feet kind of move how you expect. The elbows and knees on my Lustia are a little bit loose, probably due to her being pre-owned. By default, she has her hooves, I guess? Do succubus usually have hooves? Anyway, these do look good, and they have the same shine to them as the rest of her fur. There's also some details on the sole, but she does have a hard time balancing on these. As an alternative, she does have high heels. These look nice, and she can actually stand better with these. Compared to her wrists, the feet that she comes with feel a little bit tighter, so maybe a little bit of heat here would help. If you're ever confused about the feet, they are labelled inside. Oh, and of course she has spare wrist joints, and I guess either stickies to cover her bitties or to hold her chest covering down. We've kind of already talked about her accessories, haven't we? But wait, how could I forget? The main course. Wait, no way! Guys, we got free feet! So I actually didn't know these were in the box when I grabbed her, and I'm pretty sure the store didn't know either. Otherwise it probably would have been more expensive. But yeah, they usually come separately, and lucky me, we got free feet. For the extra accessory enjoyers out there, these absolutely fantastic alternate posing parts are served in a splendidly organized plastic tray. That way you can pick and choose whichever ones you'd like to use for your posing and photography enjoyment. These are a little looser than the original hooves and heels that she comes with, but it's not really a big issue, and from a purely figure collector's perspective, these are great. Sculpt is excellent, and despite being seemingly quite similar, there are of course some differences. I'm not quite sure how to describe these, but we'll try to do so anyway. First up, we have our standard standing pair. Next, we have a slightly forward tilted pair with tips pulled back. Thirdly, a pair which are fully pointed forward. These don't really work for standing poses. Finally, and definitely not the ones which will probably be the favorite of most people, I don't know, these are a little bit spread, I guess. Let's call them the wriggling gesture pair, and of course you can mix and match them to your heart's content. I think we got most our bases covered here with these uncovered accessories, right? Perhaps we are missing something like a curled pair, but I don't know, I'm no expert and I don't really know what I'm talking about. Anyway, for size. With hooves and heels, she's about 16 centimeters or 6 1/4 inch. With human feet, she loses 1 centimeter and her horns add 1.5 centimeters. Too many numbers here. At a 1/12 scale, she's about 192 centimeters. Holy moly, tall mommy. I mean, that's about 6 1/4 inch. I mean, 6'4". Definitely not distracted. Here she is next to Eileen, Dragon Lung, Fiona, Samurai, Rishetta, Azura Ninetails, Freerin, Mona, Nikkei Stuff, and Gacha Mem. Honestly, Lustia is a super solid figure, and even though I wasn't planning on getting her, I'm glad I did in the end. She looks great, feels good to move around, and has some fun stuff, with or without the foot pack. But honestly, why wouldn't you get it? Anyway, if you want more foot stuff, check out the video at the top. Thanks for watching, take care, have a good one, and I'll see you again next time.